For this new episode of the Design Inspiration podcast, I want to tell you about my animal inspirations. But first, if you don't know me, my name is Solène Leroux and I'm a network designer living in Paris. My goal is to inspire you in your creations, to give you the means to progress so you can create beautiful knits that you will love to make and wear for a very long time. So I recently released my Animal Totem collection, which is made of five animal-inspired stranded knits. But my obsession with animals started way back. So in my designs, it first started with cats. I designed the crazy cat hat for the former online magazine All Knits a few years ago. And I had so much fun drawing all these pretty cat faces that it inspired me to keep going. And cats are really some of my favorite animals. I have one right at home, Hooper, and he's a darling little cat. He's always there with me when I'm working. So he's a huge inspiration every day. And so I wanted to pay a tribute to some of my favorite furry friends and so I kept going with the cat-inspired knits, and I created the Prairie Cat socks, and they were a big hit. So as a knitwear designer, you never really know what pattern is going to work better than the others, and so this one is still to this date my bestseller, most loved pattern, and I'm very happy that it's this one that got a lot of attention and that resonated a lot with people because it's a design that's really dear to me. And so after releasing that pattern and after that big hit, I started thinking about what I could do around animals and animals in stranded knitting. And so I started drafting the idea for my animal totem collection. And so people often ask me where my passion from animals come from, and to tell you the truth, I don't really know myself. I remember that I've always loved animals when I was little. I think that my first I know that my first ever Google search was for polar bears. Well, it probably wasn't even Google at the time, but anyway, I made a little expose with about their behavior, everything about polar bears, and so I also collected cat magazines. I even created a magazine at school about animals, so I was pretty obsessed with them, I must admit. And I know that a lot of children are very fond of animals, but I think that some part of childhood never left me, and I'm still very, very much fascinated by all animals, and so I think that they have a lot to teach us. I'm always fascinated by their behavior, how they live, how they interact with each others, and it's a big source of inspiration to me. And I think that animals have a lot to teach us about ourselves. So that's with this idea in mind that I created the Animal Totem collection. So I wanted to choose animals that were not only pretty figures to put on a knit, but also animals that have a deeper deeper meaning. So a deeper meaning that we can relate to, that we can identify with, and I think that humans have identified with animals forever, uh, through the gods who turned into animals, through the hybrid figures like the mermaid, for example, that I talked about in a previous podcast, and these figures, like half men, half animals, are pretty universal. We can find them everywhere, in like almost every culture on Earth, and so that's something really interesting to me. And so I read and I chose my animals very carefully to link them to human archetypes, which are kind of universal character personalities. And I crafted these personalities so that they would resonate with a different kind of knitter each time, with the main idea in mind that we all have some bits and parts of each animal personality in ourselves. And And so I created a quiz with all these animal personalities. So it's a free quiz that you can take to discover which one is yours. And so there are 5 personalities linked to the 5 designs in my collection. And so the first is the ibex knitter. So it's the muse that inspires others, the joyful spirit of the knitting community. And when I created my ibex hat, I was inspired by an antique oriental vase that represented an ibex, so with a huge horn, and I thought that this figure was beautiful, and I loved the idea that these animals have been represented by humans forever, and they gave them meaning, so they were an inspiration to us and to our ancestors. And so I made a simple hat with it that you can wear over and over to carry some bits of this animal with you. And the second one is the bowerbird. So the bowerbird is the bowerbird knitter is the creator, and knitting is their pure self-expression. So I created the flame bowerbird, which is a cardigan pullover. You can make it as you want. And when I created it, I was inspired by a video that I saw. It was a BBC video, I think, and there was this flame bowerbird making a beautiful and intricate love parade to attract its partner, and it was showing off its gorgeous plumage, and I really loved I was completely fascinated by the beauty of his dance and of this little bird. And so I thought that it was a great symbol of creation. And so I made a complex stranded cardigan with it because I think that creators aren't afraid to try new techniques to make something beautiful and unique. And so the third animal in my collection is the beaver. So the beaver is the lover and the healer of our community. And what I love about beavers is that they create amazing constructions like dams and just to protect their family and to live peacefully with their loved ones by the river in a beautiful, peaceful place. So the beaver is about self-care and sharing love and helping others. So I created a hat that is available in both adult and baby size so that you can make it for you or your little loved ones. So I don't have many baby knits, but I thought that for the beaver there should be something about babies because knitting for babies is something really special and it's a really real gift of love. So I wanted to include that in my collection, even though the main collection is for women. It's more women knits or unisex. And my last animal, no, not the last, there are 2 left. So the sea turtle is the explorer and the pioneer. So it's the knitter that is always ready to discover new things, to try new techniques, and to bring us to new continents that we haven't explored or even thought of. So what fascinates me about sea turtles is that they travel amazing distances through the sea and the oceans, but they always eventually come home to give birth in the place where they were born. And I thought that was a really beautiful symbol of the roots and the origins while being able to travel and to discover the world. And so my sea turtle shawl is a real travel in itself. So it has a fascinating pea shawl shape, and it's growing bigger and bigger as the turtles go farther and farther away from home. So it's a symbol in itself. So if you're an explorer, this probably will resonate with you. And finally, my last animal and my last design is the orca. So the orca is the fierce defender in our community and of our community, always ready to help and to raise their voice for social causes. And the orcas believe that that the knitting has a power to make us better as a community. And the orca are, well, I'm fascinated by these animals because they are highly organized matriarchal society, and I thought that it was a strong symbol since the knitting community is mostly made of women, and so I created a call with a tribe of orcas on it, so they're sticking together through the waves. And yeah, so those are my 5 animals. And so, as I said, to make it more fun, I created a little free quiz that you can take to discover what your knitting spirit animal is. And so I started already seeing a lot of results, and there is a vast majority of ibex, which I found very, very interesting. And I do love ibex. I'm myself probably a mix between a bowerbird and an ibex, so creator. But I'm a creator, but I want to share my inspiration with others to inspire and be inspired, and to share with the community and to find inspiration in the simple joy of the beautiful knitting community. And so I'm also, on top of the quiz, I'm also running a call for all the designs in the Animal Totem collection. So if you're interested to come celebrate nature with us, we're doing a little call in my Ravelry and Facebook group. So you can pick any of the 5 designs and come knit with us. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this little podcast. And if you did, please let me know in the comments what your favorite animal is, and if there is one animal that you would like to see on a knit, because I'm always looking for inspiration for my next animal themed designs. And if you've taken the quiz, also let me know what result you got. So thank you so much for watching, and I wish you a very lovely day.